Good morning, everybody. Friday, the 1st of November. And, well, I wasn't looking forward to this international break because, well, it's the third in 3 months. But this one's going to feel a little bit different, I think, after the announcement of Ruben Amorim, which is expected tonight. I'm going to run through everything we know, all the details around that. 1 second, got to turn some notifications off. Forgot about that. There we go. That's better. Anyway. I'm going to run through what Ruben said in his press conference yesterday, what we expect to happen tonight. Of course, Sporting play at 8:15. Going to hear from Ruud on, well, Ruud's made it abundantly clear he wants to stay at Manchester United, and a little bit more information on that. And some quotes from Ruud came out in the press conference yesterday. We'll speak about Dan Ashworth, a little bit of Newcastle revenge, which has made me laugh. It really, really has. And then towards the end of the show, we will speak about Chelsea. It's a big game on Sunday. Looking forward to it. Wouldn't have been what I was saying last week, but, you know, things change. And what a week it has been. It was in no way, shape or form a surprise that Erik Ten Hag was sacked. I think the fact that we went live and then only an hour later there was news of him being sacked, that surprised me. The speed of it. I expected like the conversations and the stories and the whispers to come out and it take a couple of days, but no, it happened straight away. And then 5 hours later, we're hearing the Man United are approaching Amorim. Well, all these things we didn't expect, and that's why it's been a bit of a surprising week and a bit of a mad week. So thank you all for sticking with me here on United People's TV. Shaq's, nice to see you again, dude. It's been a while. You're gifting 10 memberships to come straight back in. Now that is how you walk back into the bar. Just buy everyone a drink. Legend. Who's here from the Mod Gang? Let's have a quick look. Good morning to you, Alex. How you doing, buddy? Josh, you're there as well. Carl, you're there as always. We've got Kang, C-Bomb, Akash, Gren, John, and JC. How you doing, dude? On Facebook, we've got Alberto, Matt Frost. How you doing, buddy? We've got Musa, and we have Yusuf. Good morning to all of you. As always, please do send your comments in throughout the show. I will try and engage with as many of you as I possibly can. Now, I want to start on this story, because this just made me laugh, right? What is with the notifications going off key? Anyway, the Dan Ashworth situation in the summer with Newcastle was extremely frustrating. Newcastle were there demanding 20 million for Dan Ashworth, despite the fact that it should be absolutely nowhere near that as a compensation package. And they dug their heels in and delayed the arrival of Ashworth by what? 2 months? 2 and a bit months? And then the day before, it was the 1st of July where he joined Manchester United, because the day before they went, fine. Yeah, you can have him for the price you wanted, because of the PSR deadlines. Craig Hope is the Newcastle correspondent for the Daily Mail. So it turns out that an analyst is leaving Manchester United and joining Newcastle. And just read the story. Newcastle have been told that an incoming senior analyst must first complete a period of gardening leave. And it's United and Dan Ashworth making them wait. I can't imagine how satisfying that conversation would have been for Dan Ashworth. Hi, lads. Oh, yeah. I'm doing great. How's Oh, yeah. How's James getting on? Oh, lovely. Yeah, great. Okay, yeah, so that senior analyst that you want to... Yeah, about that, lads. I mean, I hate to do this to you. He's going to have to see out a period of gardening leave. Although, if you just give me 20 million, he can go straight away. All right? Should we call it quits? They've already got our bank details. That is karma. It just made me laugh. All right? Probably absolutely zero reason why you would ever see a senior analyst need to see out got a bit of gardening leave. But that just must have been a sweet and satisfying moment on a call with Newcastle for him. And a little fun fact here. Public investment fund, of course. Newcastle are run by Saudi Arabia, as much as they try to hide it. And Saudi Arabia are looking to reduce the percentage of foreign investments in its portfolio from 30% down to 18 to 20%. So nearly cutting it in half. What a shame. Looks like Dan Ashworth got off that ship rather at the right time. Yeah, Lyle, I called it petty. That is petty as it gets. And I love it. All right? It's just funny. Oh, Akash, good morning to you as well, dude. Gifted 10 memberships. Jeez. I apologise to everyone. I like apologising sometimes. I haven't updated my gong buttons in a while. I've been so busy. I'm working with, big up to, I think it's Johan. a subscriber who reached out to me. We're going to work on a new sort of soundboard. I want to make it something that makes the shows more fun and interactive without being too gimmicky. And I haven't quite found that balance yet. But I promise you I'm working on it. Right. Let's get into the latest on the Amorim news, which I know is the reason that most of you tuned in. Now, I did my video yesterday on Amorim. And it was an opinion video, right? I said why you're allowed to be excited about Ruben Amorim. Because I'm seeing discourse among United fans that Ruben Amorim is just another version of Erik ten Hag, and you're not allowed to be excited about him. Now, what I did the video for was to explain the differences, how I see it, in terms of the arrival of Erik ten Hag and the arrival of Ruben Amorim. And I think timing's part of it. Because when Ten Hag came in, we desperately needed discipline into a squad that was like the peak of player power at the end of Ragnick. It was awful. And it felt like we needed a philosophy to really sort of take a grip of the club and actually stamp an identity. And I think that's where Ten Hag really settled in. And if I was looking at what we need now with Ruben Amorim, I think clearly for me, you can only make assumptions on this, and maybe more will come out in the goodness of time, but it feels like the communication was probably one of the biggest problems for Erik. And I said that's mainly the reason I'm excited about Ruben Amorim. I'm excited about the idea that we could play a 3 at the back, a new system. We might be better at playing out from the back with the ball, lots of stuff like that. But it's actually the stuff around the football itself. That's where I think Ruben Amorim really can be exciting. And there was a comment left by, what was his name? João Costida. Let me show you this one here. This was left on the video yesterday. And I thought it was a really cool video, right? And it's just an opinion here from a sporting fan who watched the video, and thank you very much for leaving it, because I do enjoy it when people leave comments that are worthy of being read and worthy of being shown like this. And he's just explaining what Ruben Amorim means to United, to sporting fans, and why it's a little bit different, and why he's so revered inside Sporting. Of course, they haven't won the league in 20 years, half the budget of Benfica and Porto. Yeah, he came and managed to switch it. And again, if I'm going to look at one reason why I think it's different, I think that ability to come into a club and shift a club that hasn't won the league in 20 years up against rivals that are better prepared. It's yeah. Do I think Ruben Amorim is God's gift to managers? No. Am I worried about whether he can do it at Manchester United? Yes, that's the $1 million question. And we have ruined, as a football club, directly or indirectly, managers' reputations have gone down the pan at Manchester United. Van Gaal was not a terrible manager. I tell you what, his football was terrible, though. And I still stand by it. I don't care what anybody says. The worst football we played at Manchester United, post-Fergie, is still that Van Gaal period. Well, you couldn't even watch the highlights because there wasn't any highlights. There was like 2 shots a game, and it was just 65% possession. It was, I know that it's been chaotic, but there was at least a game under Erik ten Hag. I don't know whether that's the right way to describe it or not, but just it was like water torture watching United under Van Gaal. But anyway, that was my opinion on Amorim, right? And in terms of what's happening today, right? This is the latest from Fabrizio Romano, which is absolutely not an update from Fabrizio. United have prepared all the documents. It's going to be sealed. Same on the manager side. Formal steps to follow soon. It really is. I think people have got annoyed with me for calling this out, but it's just like, that's where David Ornstein has sort of really just elevated himself. I think David Ornstein tweeted twice on Monday. Once was an exclusive that Ten Hag has been sacked, and one that was an exclusive that Ruben Amorim deal is coming through. Anyway, tonight is this. Sporting Lisbon are at home against Estrela Amadora. 8:15 is when they kick off. And the expectation is that there should be an announcement after the game, and Ruben Amorim himself has spoken about it. This is what he said. He said it's a negotiation between two clubs. It's never easy. Even with the clauses, it's never easy. They have to talk, and we will have clarification after the game. It will be very clear. So it's one more day. After the game tomorrow, we will have a decision made. So you know full well that Man United have paid the 10 million euros release clause. That's done and dusted. The Athletic followed that up by saying Manchester United have completed a full agreement for Amorim, and that includes the 30-day notice period. Now, Man United did that by allowing Ruben Amorim to stay at Sporting Lisbon for those 3 games there. 2 home games, tonight against Estrela, and on Tuesday, which we'll all be watching, Sporting at home to Man City. I think they played a couple of years ago and City absolutely spanked them. Let's hope for a very different result on Tuesday. And then, and as I said, I think I said this yesterday, it's just a very poetic moment for Ruben Amorim that his last game in Portugal as a manager, for now, is back at the club where he first made his reputation, in Braga. And that's the club that Sporting took Ruben Amorim from. So to go back there, I think it'll be like both sets of fans will give him a round of applause sort of thing. Although he wasn't at Braga for too long, was he? Anyway, we should be getting clarification after the game tonight. So I imagine keep your notifications on. I might be going live at maybe 10, half 10 tonight, because I think that's when it... And again, I think United, it's more of a sign of respect than anything, if you want to call it that. The expectation was that the announcement was going to come out yesterday because the deal had been agreed. But Ruben Amorim, I don't think, and Sporting, of course, didn't want the team to be sort of... I mean, the team already knows, and I'm guessing they've already had the conversation behind the scenes, but they didn't want the actual announcement to be official until after this game, to not rock the boat too much. And I think it's a sign of respect from Ruben to Sporting. I think it's a good sign of respect from United to allow that to happen, because United could have pushed for it if they wanted to. I imagine we probably would have had to pay more than that was part of the 1 million euros. Remember that Sporting wanted 5 million euros for the 30-day notice period to be nullified, and maybe I think that's part of the coaching staff as well. But United agreed on 1 million and allowed him to stay for 3 more games. So yeah, tonight won't be the final home game. That's coming on Tuesday against City, and what a huge game. It's weird, isn't it? It's just how football works. Ruben Amorim's last home game for Sporting is going to be against the team who are going to be his closest rivals in 10 days' time in City. And then his final game is back at the club where Sporting signed him from. That's a pretty cool end. Maybe it's not the end. Maybe he'll go back there in the future. But that's someone down there said, Mr. Bojangles, great song, saying that it's a class move from United. It's a good way to build a relationship, if you want to call it that. Of course, we've had a fantastic relationship with Sporting Lisbon in the past. Oh, let me pull this graphic up. This graphic was fire. Made by the team early this week. Where is it? Damn it, I should have had this up prepared. These rookies, man. You just can't get the staff these days. You just can't get the staff. Oh, 1 second. I'm just going to put it up on Instagram. There it is. There it is. United have had a very good relationship with Sporting Lisbon before. Nani coming in, Ronaldo coming in, Bruno coming in. You can put Rojo in there if you want. And now Ruben Amorim. So just, no need to burn bridges. I think that's a really good way to describe it, man. We all want Ruben in. You might say this is Captain Hindsight saying this, but if I'm looking at when would be the right time for Ruben Amorim to come in, I think at the start of a 2-week international break is as great an opportunity as you could possibly ask for. Because that gives him the time. Had he come in for Chelsea, he would have probably landed last night. This morning, he'd be meeting the players for the first time. He'd have one full training session and a half training session tomorrow. And then he'd have to play Chelsea, which is a tough game. And he'd have to go straight in there, and there'd have to be an expectation, and there would be an expectation on it working straight away. But now that we've got Ruud and I'm looking forward to seeing Ruud against Chelsea. We'll speak about that a little bit later in the show. Now, defensively, we weren't awful against Leicester, but the goals that we conceded were just like, man, that was just sloppy. You're going to play a better team, not against a Leicester that's made 9 changes. You're going to get punished. So I imagine we're probably going to concede. But we've got plenty of goals we can score. Rob, you're saying it's perfect timing. Yeah, the timing feels right. Ipswich away won't be an easy game. You saw how Liverpool struggled there. Kieran McKenna's side, they're struggling this season because they've continued. What Ipswich are doing is what Burnley did with Vincent Kompany. Such a hard thing for them to do. Like, just a random little sidetrack point here about the Championship. Like, you've seen Burnley do it with Kompany. You've seen McKenna do it with Ipswich. And you'll see it's Russell Martin did it with Southampton as well. These managers who in the Championship, they like imprint a style of play which gets them promoted. And it's brilliant. And then they keep that in the Premier League, and it doesn't work because the players aren't good enough to replicate that style in the Premier League against teams who are also playing like that, but just are so much better. It's really hard. It's almost like you have to get promoted from the Championship, then have a season where you say, look, I know that this was how we played before, but unless you want to get relegated, we're going to have to play differently for one season. Then once we've got a bit more money in, we can re-sign the players to go back to that style. It's almost like you have to have a 1-year hiatus on an identity to try and keep yourself up, because it looks like Ipswich are going down. Southampton are getting absolutely steamrolled, and Burnley got pumped. Just a random little sidetrack there. Akash, I agree with you there, saying I'm intrigued to see how Amorim adapts to the Premier League. I imagine we're going to be sticking to the 3 at the back system. I would be amazed if he didn't. I'm going to wait for the international break to do this sort of content, but I'm going to take a look. I've already run through how United's squad would fit with Ruben Amorim, but I'm going to run through what I would probably line up as my best 11 and probably come up with 3 or 4 different versions, because there is a real chance that we see a winger as a wing back. It happens with Amorim. You've got Santos, who plays on the left as a left wing back, and he's just a left winger. Now, we don't actually have a left winger on paper, nor do we have a fit left back on paper. But you could get somebody who cuts inside, because that does happen as well. It'll be interesting. So that, although I poo-poo the idea of Anthony as a left wing back, I mean, it could happen. It's not outside the realms of possibility. Certainly for the rest of this season. I still think he gets sold. But all that content we'll save for the international break, because we've got Chelsea coming up. We've got POK, and then we've got Leicester as the last game. Garnacho could play as a wing back, and if I'm honest, yeah. There's still lots more that we can talk about from a tactical perspective. But tonight, make sure you tune in. Sporting are playing Estrela, 8:15. I'll be watching the game. I'm sure you will be too. And after, we should get the confirmation. I imagine it's just going to be... It would just be a joint statement from Manchester United and Sporting, and Ruben Amorim will confirm it in his press conference as well. That's what I imagine will happen. We'll find out. And fingers crossed, he just blows them away. Now, in terms of the staff, again, I'll be doing a little bit of a mini documentary. Maybe not a fully polished mini documentary, but more like an informative video on the coaching staff that Amorim will be bringing with him once we have confirmation on those members of staff. Now, we've seen 5 different names being thrown around. And somebody asked previously, what I think his name is Paulo Barrera, who is the sports scientist, done a little bit of research, and I believe he is in charge of Sporting's fitness. That's what he does. And it's been reported that he's coming with him. I need to find out more information on that, but that could be exciting. Akash, better get a pint of Estrela. No, we're 5 weeks in, so no drink. Well, it'll be 5 weeks on Monday, and we're sticking to it. 10 weeks. That's what we're going for. Miles, I thought about that the other day as well. There is a chance chance that Lenny Yoro is fit for Ipswich. Now, personal expectation, I would be surprised to see him come straight into a starting 11. But it really shouldn't be long after the international break that we see Yoro being available for selection. And Yoro's Manchester United career, you know how we're saying that, like, penny for Yoro's thoughts is kind of like just sitting on. But maybe that's why, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, although it probably will sound disrespectful. Lenny Yoro didn't sign for Manchester United because he was excited about playing for Erik ten Hag. Lenny Yoro signed for Manchester United because he was excited about the vision of the club and this is what he said in his own statement when he joined. He goes, I'm excited about the project, the vision that was laid out by Dan Ashworth and Omar Barada, and they've obviously explained Project 150. We're going to be winning the league by 2028. He didn't know what the path was at that point, but it turns out that Lenny Yoro never made an actual competitive appearance under Erik ten Hag, and it's going to be under Amorim. And if we're looking at it, Lenny Yoro, of all the defenders, he's the one that suits that back three perfectly from an athletic perspective. I have question marks about Martinez, by the way, and whether he can do that. I think in a back three, for sure, someone like Jared Branthwaite would suit that significantly more in terms of ground coverage, but we'll find out. I'm excited for it. Anyway, tonight we should be getting the confirmation on Ruben Amorim, and I'll be here for it. And then once we do, that's when you can get more information on the coaching side of things, and I'll bring that to you when we have it. Let me see what you're saying down here. Sam, this time adjustment is making me miss the show. Don't have a go at me, have a go at the UK. Was it daylight savings time? I don't know what it's called, but the clocks went back on Sunday. I think it was on Sunday. I think so. Manji saying, where can I watch Sporting's game today? I tell you what, if you're in the UK, this is how I watched a Sporting game the other day. If you're in the UK and you make sure you go on Bet365, you've got an account, and if you have some money in your account as a deposit, I don't know how, it might even just be £1. As long as you've got something in your account, you might be able to watch a Sporting game, because that's how I watched it the other day. Because they actually show full games on there sometimes. Just an idea. And if not, I'm sure there are other ways to watch football. Just heard it from just a mate. A mate told me. Just a mate told me. Right. Let's move on and speak about the actual manager right now. Ruud. Lots of conversation about Ruud this week. Of course, he was made interim after Ten Hag was sacked. We didn't know how long that was going to be for, and then boom, the Ruben Amorim story came on top of it. And we realised that Ruud wouldn't be here that long. We didn't know whether he was going to be here for one game. Turns out he's going to be here for 4 games. First game, spanked Leicester 5-2. And I had fun watching it. Defensively, there were more than one question mark. But going forward, loved it. 5 goals, could have been 6, could have been 7. Enjoyable. Now we've got Chelsea on Sunday, and we'll speak about Chelsea a little bit later in the show. But in terms of what's happened this week, this is what Ruud said when he was asked about Erik ten Hag, all right?
It was a sad day. And I talked to Erik, I saw him, and of course it's a bad day. It's disappointing. And to see him leave like that, I think we met in over the summer for our conversation, to get me back to United, and what's.
Well, don't let that. I'm going to shut me down for copyright. But that's just Ruud speaking about Erik ten Hag. And you see this sort of thing from the Daily Mail, man. It's just. Does this happen without a manager? Again, I don't remember. I don't have visibility on it. But I don't remember Jurgen Klopp getting stalked after he left Liverpool. Oh, Sam, it's different. He wasn't sacked. He left. It's still a bit weird. Paparazzi vibes are always a bit weird. Remember, did anyone watch the Beckham documentary? What was the name of them? Is it Eamon and James Clark? I think it was. I think they still work for the Manchester Evening News. Just the photographers who used to just peep over fences and just try and get a shot. It's an old school, very invasive style of journalism. Well, it's not even journalism. It's like piss off, man. Just let him. He's gone back to. It's just weird. Just let him be. Odd. Anyway, that was just Ruud speaking about Erik ten Hag. Part of him, of course, will be sad because it was Erik who brought him back to the club, and then part of him will know that this is an opportunity that he won't ever get again. So he's taken it with both hands. And in terms of whether Ruud will stay or not, Ruud has made it abundantly clear that he wants to stay. He's not doing indirects. He's not being cryptic. He's not being mysterious. I'm motivated to stay at Manchester United. I will go back to my assistant contract that I have here for this season and the next. I came in as an assistant to help the club move forward, and I'm still motivated to do so in any capacity. Ruud really wants to stay. And we don't need to have the conversation here again about whether or not we think he will stay. It ultimately comes down to, in my opinion, whether or not Ruben Amorim feels like he needs to keep a link inside the club that might help him understand the club quicker, that might help him understand the culture of Manchester quicker, that might help him understand the players quicker. And it may well be that Ruud van Nistelrooy you could even see Ruud van Nistelrooy staying for the rest of this season. But I think you've seen how much good favour Ruud has with United fans, obviously from his playing career. And he's just very well respected by the players. He seems to have a good rapport with the players. He certainly has a good rapport with the fans. And it may well be a smart move for Amorim to keep him, but it depends fully on how many come over with him. And I've already ran through that. So we'll find out. And we don't need to have a poll and a conversation down here in the comments before, because we've already spoken about this. Oh, look, it's the actual original man himself. I can't not. For Gungshi. Oh, balls. I've lost a little bit you hit it with. Well, you can use my Carmex. Well, that's disappointing. Third time lucky. There we go. Ah, dear. That was embarrassing. Big up to Gungshi himself. Dropping 20 memberships. How you doing, dude? Nice to see you. And you're saying maybe Ineos have told Amorim Ruud is staying. I don't think they'll do that. I mean, they might do. They might do, right? In terms of Ruud speaking about Ruben Amorim, he goes, look, do I expect to talk to the new manager? Of course. I want to do everything I can in my abilities to fight for this club. The club's in a difficult situation, but the challenge is there, and that's why I'm here. In terms of players, this is what he said on the current squad and signing new ones. He goes, it's difficult to comment on that, actually, and what the process would be with the new manager and how important it is that the new manager is improving the squad. He has a decision to come to when he sees the squad. It's all very up in the air currently as to whether or not Ruud stays. My gut tells me that he won't. But part of me really kind of hopes he does. As long as it actually don't keep Ruud for like an old boys club reason. Don't keep Ruud because he's a legend of the club and he scored 150 goals for us before. That's dumbass reasons to keep Ruud van Nistelrooy at the club. As much as emotionally it would be fun. Keep Ruud at the club if he is going to make your job easier, Ruben Amorim. If it makes your transition into Manchester United, into the Premier League, easier. If it improves his ability to be a manager at Manchester United, then Ruud should stay. That's what I think. Actually, head coach, as it is, not a manager. No one's even talking about Hake, Peter, but it's because it's done and dusted. There's no chance that René Hake stays. I feel sorry for him, but there isn't. There's no way he stays. And if Ruud van Nistelrooy wasn't a player for Manchester United before, I don't think there would be any chance that Ruud stays. But it's that connection that he has. Definitely could do with some proper wing-backs, says JT Motley. Look, well, I'm going to be covering that in... we'll do that during the international break. You could look at signings that he could make. You could look at a keep-sell, maybe. Seems a bit extreme to be doing before he's even taken charge. Maybe that's more towards a January transfer window, but we could probably have that conversation. Alex, you gifted 5 memberships as well. Everybody's coming up Trumps today, Gungshi, Alex, Akash, and at the start of the show, it was Shanks as well. Shanks and Bigfoot. Big, sweet. I was about to say big like chocolate. Big like chocolate. Sort yourself out. My neighbour upstairs was having an absolute Halloween party last night. We had some Faithless. What else we have on? We had some OG 90s trance. I like a bit of trance. I like a bit of electronic music. I like drum bass, really. Anyone else like drum bass? Liquid drum bass. It's my vibe. I don't really like jump up. And 5 more from Garlic Bread Man. Jeez! Everybody. Big up to all of you. What a busy week it has been here on United People's TV, and I did not expect that. Coming into that show on Monday, Rewind, right? Rewind 4 shows ago when we came on here after the West Ham game on a Monday morning, and I was like, I don't know where to turn. I remember that. Well, of course I do. It was only bloody 4 days ago. But there was just a kind of a nothing feeling because I was like, well, it's not. The players can't score. They're not obviously not going to get any luck from referees. It's like, I didn't see a way out. And then he was sacked a few hours later. And then obviously everything that's kicked off this week. I can't wait. Anybody who says drum bass is rubbish, you're not listening to the right drum and bass. I love drum bass. Give me some logistics, bit of high contrast, bit of etherwood. New high contrast album just came out. It's cracking. Jack, you just left a comment. It's good, isn't it? It's good. Anyway, big up drum bass. Don't care what anyone says. Did it. Right. Last 10 minutes. Oh, it's bloody hell, not the last 10 minutes of the show. It's only half an hour in. Let's have a conversation about Chelsea. Now, what do you expect to happen on Sunday? Chelsea under Maresca have been impressive. I think Nicholas Jackson's been really good. I think there's individuals that are standing out inside that team, but they actually look like a team. Jadon Sancho is... What has he been... I think he was left out for tactical reasons from the last couple of games. And I think now he's ill. That's how it starts, by the way. That's how it starts. What are you expecting on Sunday? I'm expecting it to be a bit of a full tilt game. I'm not expecting clean sheets on either side. But I am expecting United to certainly go at them. Yeah, I think it will be chaos, but different chaos to what we saw under Erik Ten Hag. There was a bit more midfield structure against Leicester. Now, that's going to have to be kept and held against Chelsea. They definitely got our defence too easy, and it was just, as I said, the 2 goals that we conceded by India were just a floppy punch, and the second one was a little bit unlucky, I suppose. I think, was it De Ligt tried to head the ball, and then it kind of just went through to Dalot, who's got no time to react. Wasn't really his fault. Came off his chest, dropped down to Connor Cody, who stroked it in. But Chelsea's squad is going to be significantly better than what Leicester's have. Let me see what you're saying down there. Sam will beat them 5-4. Could you imagine? I mean, he could actually. I do think it's going to be both teams. Someone's just put it down there, Stephen. Both teams to score, United win. I think that's a pretty decent bet. Maresca is finding out about Sancho. Wow. I'm so glad that Sancho's not a Manchester United player anymore, not Manchester United problem anymore. Definitely going to be one of arguably the biggest what if in terms of how excited I was when we signed him and the age that he was. Some people might put Paul Pogba in it, but I think Pogba delivered far more than Jadon Sancho did, which I don't think is particularly hard. Gungshu going for a 3-2. 3-0, says Tyler, with a Hoyland brace. Jeez. Ugarte man-marking Palmer. I don't want anybody man-marking anybody. Sod that. Keep the shape. Keep the shape in midfield. That's the crucial aspect, I would say. And that's why Ugarte and Casemiro look so good against Leicester. Now, first of all, they played a very changed Leicester team that was weakened, sure. But their roles were very clear. You didn't see Ugarte 40 yards out of position trying to chase someone down and then Casemiro trying to cover the space in behind him. Ugarte was largely in front of his back four, defending and screening. Now, he did move a little bit, but that's ultimately what he did. allowing Casemiro to be more of a free-roaming central midfielder role, and he got a couple of goals. It just worked. You have to balance your profiles, and that was a big sort of tactical faux pas of Erik ten Hag, really. He's not particularly using his players in, like, not using Ugarte in that way either. Any news on Mainu, Mount, or Shaw, says Alex. Mainu is out for a month, and that was what? Mainu will be back after the international break. Okay, Mainu will be fit, should be fit, for Amorim's first game. Luke Shaw, I'm not speaking about him. I'm just done with it. Because even if he comes back, and even if he's great for 2 games, I know what's coming next. Which is just a shame, but it is what it is. It's just, you can't ignore the facts anymore. Malacia, I think there were whispers that he could be involved in the squad against Leicester. So if he wasn't there against Leicester, maybe you'll see him against Chelsea. But of course, Harry Mass was on the bench as well. Lisandro Martinez, I hope he doesn't play left back. I think we've got a left back issue against Chelsea, that's for sure. I'll run through that more in the starting 11 show. What are you saying down here? Rex saying, never got into drum bass but won't hold it against you. That's fine. All right, just don't hold it against me. But you should get into it, especially liquid drum bass. Man, it's relaxing. It's weird. I find bass relaxing. I always have. I've always loved bass. I remember when I was younger, fun fact, I think it was Need for Speed Underground 1 came out, and I had all my mates came round. I don't know how I didn't blow my speaker system. Everybody brought round their subs that they had from their own little, because you used to have big old stacks, those huge like 5-disc CD changers. And those systems that had subs, they all brought theirs round, put it into my system. We had it all going, and then we played the game. Yeah, that was loud. That was loud. Andy's saying you don't want to see Xerxes in the starting 11. I don't think we will see him in the starting 11. I think it will definitely be Rasmus Højlund. Vin, you want to see Mazraoui starting at left back. Collier's out injured for a month. That's a shame for him. He's kind of been left out of a couple of matchday squads recently, which is a little bit weird. Don't know where he's been. I don't know whether he was already injured. We'll find out. More scared of Noni Madueke than Palmer, says Benjamin. Chelsea have got some good wingers that are in good form, man. They have threats. They have definite threats from wide positions, which is probably going to be one of our weaknesses. Let's find out. You may well see Delo at left back again. I'm not saying that Malacia will play, by the way. I'm saying that he might be fit for a match day squad, but if you're going to play one of them, you'd probably play Mass ahead of him, wouldn't you? We need more. We need goals from striker, says Eugene. Well, I think Højlund will start this game, right? I think Højlund will start this game, and I think he absolutely should as well. And Mass to come on for a cameo. I was hoping the Mass cameo was going to happen against Leicester. Like last 10 minutes, it felt right. Like 5-2 up at home, League Cup game. Perfect environment to give him a debut. He didn't give him a debut. Anything on Mason Mount? Mason Mount was out with that head injury, wasn't he? I think he got stitches after I don't know what game it was. Must be like 3 weeks ago now. He got stitches. And he hasn't been seen since. And of course, like Rasmus Højlund, you saw the injury that he had. Was that against Brentford? And he came off for the second half. Probably different. I have no idea. But yeah, there's no point even speaking about Mason Mount. There's no point speaking about anything really. What's going on here? Any other news that I'm missing? Nope, don't think so. Mazid, you saying you want to see Mazraoui continue at left back? Getting those fullback positions correct in the personnel choice and how they play, I think is going to be pretty fundamental to whether or not we get a good result against Chelsea. That's where their threat's going to come from. Don't underrate Xerxes. There is something good about Xerxes, but I don't particularly feel it's in an isolated number 9 position. Unfortunately for Xerxes, I think just the way that we're currently set up, which is like a 4-2-3-1, the only position there that I think really suits Xerxes is where Bruno plays, and Bruno's going to start there. I don't think Xerxes would suit a left wing role or a right wing role or the isolated number 9. Now, inside a new Amorim system with a 3-4-3, Xerxes sitting in one of those central attacking positions behind the main striker is a really good position for him. However, currently, I don't know. I'd rather see him play just off Højlund. But to do that, you'd probably have to give up one of the wingers, and that's not currently how we're playing. That's what I think. I'm not writing Xerxes off. I told you, I don't write players off in their first seasons. He's struggling, though. For sure he's struggling. And I told you, he just looks too heavy. He's running, his first touches, things that would probably normally naturally come easy to him, and probably do come easy in training, are not coming easy on the pitch at all. Chris is saying just play him 10 and drop Bruno deeper. I don't like Bruno deep, man. You saw the best of a free-roaming Bruno that has defensive protection behind him is so ridiculously creative. And that's what Amorim's system will do for Bruno. As one of those two central attacking midfielders behind the striker and a defensive protection of three centre-backs, and you've got two central midfielders who stay in position, so you've got five behind him covering the central space, gives Bruno a massive degree of freedom that will make Bruno, I think, more towards the Bruno that we saw under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. That will be my prediction. I think Bruno's going to benefit massively, and he's struggled a lot this season, as well as Højlund. There are some other players. Maybe I could do that as a video today. Sort of the 5 players I think that would absolutely thrive in an Amorim system. If I was going to choose 5 players who I think the stocks are going to do that, which 5 would you go for? Fire in the comments. Let's have a little chat. Xerxes will come good, give him time. Hey, look, every United player will always get their first season. Anthony got his first season, showed some promise, and then just didn't deliver on the second one. It's just a shame because I think the best that we would see from Xerxes is if you played him just behind Højlund in like the supporting striker role. But to do that would be like a bit of a shift in system and a little bit of a shift in formation, which I don't particularly think is going to happen. Not in the 3 games that Ruud's got as manager. I think he'll get a chance under Amorim, though. I do. Bruno will have the total freedom, Sam, same as he was at Sporting. Yeah, it's going to be... I'm dead excited. Because you all know how much I love Bruno. And I agree with you all, by the way. Bruno's been crap this year. Bruno has been nowhere near Bruno. And it's been frustrating because once you get players who have set the expectations so high, when they don't reach them, the frustration boils over a lot more. I think that's partly the reason why Marcus Rashford does get a hard time from a lot of fans, is because of the expectations he put on himself by having a season where he scored 30 goals. And when you have a season like that and then you don't follow it up, people are frustrated because of the bar that you set yourself. When will we see Yoro play? Should be after the international break. And yeah, Alphonso Davies is definitely going to be a player I speak about when I look at the transfer window and who United could and should be looking at. That is like I don't know what to call that sort of signing. That will be right up there with like Lenny Yoro level of signing. Really would be. JC, jeez, gifted 20. Come on, let's get Gary Neville out. For everybody who's gifted memberships today, you're all legends. I'm not going to hit that with the Carmex anymore. Yeah, old school. Oh, hit the mic. Cheers, Gary. Let's get Gary Neville on here for an interview, man. Right. What else is saying down here? You're making no sense, and you're not making any sense, mate. There's no balancing Garnacho, Højlund, and Rashford, all running in behind to link play in sight. Garnacho's the one who's been making the best runs. Højlund actually does have some good link-up play. Like, you know how people are saying that Xerxes got that. Højlund does have that ability. I think he definitely showed it against Brentford. Really good. Like, you know, in terms of getting the ball to feet, spinning a defender, passing it out to Rashford or Garnacho, and then sprinting forward to be the striker arriving on the edge of the box. I think Højlund did that quite well. Yeah, we'll find out. Somebody wants Jeremy Frimpong down there. Wing-backs. We're definitely going to be active in the wing-back market. That's what I think so anyway. Yeah, I think it's more of a December conversation, Bojangles. But we'll see. All right. Sam, I'd love to see you on the overlap. Never been invited. I'm pretty sure that Adam McCullough and Stretford Paddock have just got a tight and direct relationship with the overlap. And I think That's the as much as I absolutely love what we do here, partly there's only so much I can do because of where I live and because of what we built here. So something that's coming, just a little insight into how I see United continuing to scale. I'm going to try and find one or two people that I really feel want the opportunity to come on board to United People's TV and to be sort of a face of the channel, and somebody maybe who's local to Manchester and can do some more stuff there that I can't do simply because of where I am. And I think that'll be a really cool way to elevate the channel forwards, because right now, still this whole time, it's just been me here in the channel, which is great to a certain point, but I'm sure you'd like to meet some new people. And I think that's a good elevation of where United People's TV can go next. So yeah, that's coming next year, as well as a live show, by the way. I promise you, that's the aim for next year. Now, before we wrap up today's show, it is Friday, so it's map day. All right, let me know where you're watching from, the town and the city. You can see on the right-hand side, we've got Botswana, we've got Denmark, Liberia, Nepal, Russia, Denmark, Philippines, loads from Denmark, Malawi, UK, Tanzania, South Africa, Norway, New Zealand, Japan, County Carlo, Inaro. Let me know where you're watching from, all right? Mark, you're saying, Sam, minimum required on a Bet365 account is a $5. Someone else saying that you got it for free on Sky Bet. Anyway, I think it's an easy way to check it out. If you've got a betting account, you might be able to watch that sporting game for free. Josh Birch, you're watching from, where is Frankston? In Australia, mate. What's that, Skip? Sorry, not sorry. Yeah, we do need some more Siberia. Anybody got some internet in Siberia? Come on, tune in. Who's from Facebook? Let's have a look. We've got Matthews Brandt. You're watching from Springbok. Ian said, there we go. Yeah. Well, you might not be in that part of it, but you're on the map anyway, Springbok. And let's get one more. Oh, Ben Jordan with the pinnacle. Bradford. Come on. Was it Bradford where, I think it was, where Paul Scholes scored that goal from the corner? Was it Giggs who pinged it out to him, and then on the first time volley, Scholes from the outside the box, and it went into like the bottom corner? I think that was against Bradford. Someone let me know. I think I'm right. But anybody who's just tuning in, let me give you a quick roundup of what the main story of today is. Ruben Amorim has confirmed that, look, we will have clarification after the game. It was against Bradford. Look at that. Come on. I've got some knowledge up there. The amount of time I spend every day speaking and thinking about United, I really should have knowledge. Ruben Amorim's confirmed. It was Beckham corner. There you go. Close enough. Of course it was Beckham in the corner. Ruben Amorim's confirmed that there will be an update after the game tonight. So my expectation is that tune in to watch the game, and after we'll get a joint statement from United and Sporting confirming that Ruben Amorim is joining. We'll get the confirmation of the date, which is expected to be the 11th of November, that he'll start as United manager, the day after the last game against Braga. He'll fly in, and then he'll have the international break, and his first game will be Ipswich. And I imagine there'll probably be a goodbye statement from Ruben Amorim, and he'll also have his post-match press conference. So that will be later tonight. We're going to get confirmation. Well, the expectation is. I mean, it's always the way with Manchester United. You expect announcements to be made, and then it's never made. It's the next day. But the reason it's been delayed is because United, I think it's the right move not to burn any bridges, has allowed Ruben Amorim 3 more games at Sporting to properly say his goodbye and not leave the club kind of up shit creek. That's the reason, right? Johnny, that's a good question to end the show. Do you think there is another Sam in a parallel universe talking about United top of the table and running riot in Europe? I was thinking about this earlier. Where were you for the 2011 Champions League final? I was at uni. I remember sitting right at the front. I got there so early, right in front, right in the pub, and I had the prime seat. And I remember being absolutely blasted by the time that Rooney swept home that goal. I got so excited because we had been played off the park in that game. And I was randomly remembering 2009 when Fletcher got sent off in the semi. for a really fair, great tackle on Fabregas. Second yellow, got suspended, and then we got spanked in the final. Could have done with Fletcher. I was just randomly thinking about these. And then I think for the game against in Rome against Chelsea, not Rome, Moscow, against Chelsea, that was when I was working at a call centre. I think I was around some girl called Becky's house. I think so. I can't remember. Anyway, there was loads of us watching a game. I was watching with a Chelsea fan, and I was screaming in his face. Screaming in his face. Cido, you're saying you were in a hot tub in Spain? Akash, you were playing pool at a local club in 2011. In front of my TV, says John. John, were you at Wembley? Nice. I'd love to see United in a European final. I had the opportunity. I had a ticket for the final against Ajax, but I was so skint at that time. I gave it to my mate Jit. Jit, I know you're not watching, but you owe me a European final ticket. All right, I'm never going to forget that. Yeah, I just couldn't afford the flights and hotel, so I had to give my ticket up. Sad times. But United will be getting there back to more European finals, no doubt. Maybe this season. Ruben Amorim lifting the Europa League. Who says no? It'd be great. Look, thank you all for a brilliant week. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for supporting United People's TV and the community. And I keep saying it, right? It's been a rough season so far. Man United have been a soap opera, and not a good one. Like, what's a crap soap opera? What was one on Channel 5? Family Affairs? Fan House Naff. That's basically been United this season. But when United genuinely are consistently climbing again, and that could well happen now with Ruben Amorim, and fingers crossed it does. No one's expecting United to go 30 games unbeaten straight away, but just on a game-by-game basis to build and build and build and build. That's what I want to see. And when we do that, you definitely want to be part of this United People's TV community. Crossroads, Brookside, Neighbours. I used to love Neighbours. Neighbours. We talked about drum and bass. We talked about soaps. Come on. Hollyoaks back in the day. Whew, jeez. Anyway, big up to all of you. I digress. Have a good day. I'll probably be back here later on, live on a Friday evening after the Amorim confirmation. And I'll be here tomorrow with the starting 11 for Chelsea. Lunchtime with a video. I'm not sure what today. I'll get one out. And then Sunday for the Chelsea game. Big up to all of you. Have a cracking weekend. All right? Take it easy.